Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be doing the December 2024 astrology highlights. So on the 2nd of December we have Venus in Capricorn trining Uranus in Taurus and a moon in Capricorn. So you might find that you're becoming a lot more sociable, you're more drawn to interesting and unique characters in your life. And this gives me the energy of a film when somebody gets very sort of stuck in a rut, they stick to the status quo and then they get dragged along for the ride by someone who's a lot more spontaneous. The kind of Matthew McConaughey, I'll just do it kind of energy. It gives me the vibe of being stuck in a rut and then wanting to move out of that. And the moon in Capricorn is also really good for any long-term plans as well, especially if you need help with those long-term plans. So the weird, unique character might actually be somebody that is helpful for you and giving you some kind of wisdom. And while Venus is in Capricorn, which to me is a very sort of traditional, old-school, romantic kind of sign, trining Uranus, it might mean that you tend to feel more sociable and more spontaneous, and there's this real need for simulation, especially in your love life. But for some reason, you are manifesting this in the form of wanting more out-of-the-box experiences with something that's more exciting, but you also want a partner that you're committed to as well. So it's kind of the energy of, I want a bit of a Damon and a Stefan together. You know, I want a little bit of fun, but I also want that commitment, and I don't want them to go off and do whatever with whoever. So it might be a relationship that become too stale and then you need some kind of out-of-the-box experience to kind of keep it fresh. It's just a little bit old. And you might also want a long-term commitment, but you also want the freedom attached to that as well. So it's kind of like, it's a unique balance really. So Venus in Capricorn, very sort of stable and old school, trining Uranus and Taurus, which is more shocking and out of the box. Interesting highlights, basically. Take what you will with that. Then on the 4th of December, we have Sun in Sagittarius squaring Saturn in Pisces. You could be getting a little bit more irritated than normal, feeling frustrated by a lack of progress. The Sun in Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter, the planet of luck and expansion, is pushing you to be optimistic and expansive. But the Saturn in Pisces is sort of saying, oh, boundaries here, quelling your delusion a little bit. So you could find that responsibilities are getting in the way of your dreams and the goals that you're trying to set, and it could find that you're fixating on why this is not working. You're kind of like, I really want this to work, I'm doing the work and I just can't seem to focus and get things off the ground. So you could also have someone that's setting boundaries for you and not letting you be delusional, and you're getting quite irritated by that. If you're a particularly sort of optimistic person, you know, I'm Sagittarius, I like to be, you know, a master manifester. I like to talk about affirmations and be kind of delusional, and sometimes people in my life say that's ridiculous, that's stupid, and I just think, ugh, it's irritating. So when that Sun in Sagittarius squares Saturn in Pisces, it can be a little bit of a water over the head moment. So this Sagittarius will also be conjunct Mercury in Sagittarius as well. And this actually helps you get an idea or plan off the ground. So this is motivational, and it's quite a good energy for seeing results quite quickly as well, especially like in January, February time, if you were to start now, for example. So I think being delusional, I think it's a good thing. I don't think you should quell that. I think you shouldn't listen to people around you that are being negative, and you can just push on a little bit. So on the 6th of December, we have a interesting event. We have Mars stationing retrograde in Leo. So Mars is currently in Leo right now, which might make some of the Leos watching a little bit angry. Their tensions are high. So when Mars retrogrades in Leo, this is really a very irritable time for a lot of people. You know, you can get frustrated over the smallest little thing. It's very much belt hook on the door. I've had a bad day, and then that just adds to it, and you're like, oh my God, it's a very irritable energy. And because Leo is, you know, it's a little bit cantankerous sometimes, can have a bit of a temper, and is obviously a fire sign. It's just like, whew, anger. But it's really important to use this retrograde to have that, have a healthy outlet for that anger. You know, something creative, motivational, for example, with, with working out, with something that you can channel that anger into, you know? It's like Blade Trinity, you've got to use the anger, and try to pick up those odd creative projects. Try to, you know, put that energy into a relationship if you want to. If you're like, I'm angry over this, the way this Dusty Christie man is treating me, or woman, then put that energy into that relationship and say, I want to heal from it, I want to work on myself, or I'm going to put the energy into fixing this relationship. Whatever your heart desires, really. But don't let this be a destructive force. You can use it for good, but it will heighten some tensions in the air a little bit. The next day, on the 7th of December, Neptune will be stationing direct. This is quite good, actually. This is nice. This eases that sort of like dust on the mirror that we've had, that foggy energy where we can't think clearly. There is real clarity coming here, a sense of vision to your life. You know, if you felt, I don't really know what I'm doing, get up in the morning and think, what's the point? I don't know what I'm doing. This doesn't make sense to me. I mean, a lot of the time this year I've been like, this doesn't make any sense. And I think Neptune retrograding does cause a lot of that kind of confusion. So this is actually a good energy, and I think you could start to feel better connected to Gaia, to the universe, to yourself, to your subconscious, to the way that you are operating. You might find that you even manifest a little bit easier because you're able to see, you know, the woods from the trees a little bit, and connect to your spiritual self, your higher self. And I liken it to really just having a bit of a weight lifted off your chest, really, and that you feel you can see. It's like, now I understand. Now you understand. And that comes through quite clearly with Neptune direct. So this is also good as well. On the same day, Venus will be entering Aquarius. So it was in Capricorn, it's now in Aquarius. And this can help you connect with the community a little bit more, because as we know, with Pluto going to Aquarius, Aquarius is a lot about humanitarianism and community and fostering a sense of values and doing the right thing. So you could find that you are more drawn to, you know, friendships, or, you know, finding real love in friends. You know, it's like, I don't have to have a relationship to feel feelings of love or have that true kind of sense of connectedness. But actually in relationships, they can also be very important during this time as well. And you can make changes in your relationships that really help you grow, especially because Aquarius can be very creative and a little bit different. I love Aquarius, it's very quirky. And they always do things a little bit differently, always dress a little bit differently, always just out of the box, and always do things about 5 years before it becomes trendy as well. So Venus in Aquarius is kind of the thinking out of the box when it comes to romance. So if you are trying to, you know, connect with somebody romantically or even on a friendship level, doing things a little bit more uniquely is a good sign when Venus is in Aquarius. On the 11th, we have the Moon in Taurus squaring Mars in Leo. Again, this is not a major placement really, but I just want to mention it because it could be that somebody frustrates you and you get into a fight that you really just didn't need to get into. It's kind of the feeling of, I could have avoided that, and I don't really want to I don't really want to have a fight, but I'm just doing it to blow off steam. You know, I'm just doing it because I'm angry, because Mars in Leo is making me go crazy. You know, the retrograde has happened now. It's kind of like, I just want to have a fight for a fight's sake, and I think you could really avoid that. So if you come to the 11th and start feeling like, you know, fisticuffs, I think maybe just send to yourself and think, I don't need this fight, because it could grow into something more that you don't want it to. And actually on the 12th, Venus in Aquarius will also be opposing Mars in Leo. So this is the great passion in relationships, again, doing things more uniquely, being passionate, but then also becoming very annoyed very easily. This is like, I got the ick out of nowhere kind of thing. It's like, I did all this thing for you and you're so ungrateful, and then I'm just irritated by you. That energy can manifest really easily. So again, you might want to be careful about channeling that passion in the right way and being more productive with it, rather than, you know, maybe just throwing it all over the place like a garden hose. It's like, let me just channel it in the right way. On the 15th, Mercury will be stationing direct, and obviously it's been retrograding since the 25th of November in Sagittarius. And of course, Mercury retrogrades cause a lot of delays and communication issues and things coming back from the past. So now it's direct. This will be a nice feeling of you getting back on track. So if you've had any delays with projects, relationships, or anything of the like, you can actually find yourself, you know, getting back on track with that, or things even speeding up for you. It gives me the Chariot energy of the tarot, where we're like speeding forward and things are not holding us back anymore. And in the coming weeks, you might find that that also boosts your mood as well, because you're not thinking, I'm just stuck waiting for someone else to do this thing as well. But because Mars is still retrograding, you might not feel completely perfect. You know, things are not, the path is totally clear, but for now this will be quite optimistic and good for you, and you can get back onto your goals. I think it will help as well as we start to go into the new year. You can be like, right, nothing's holding me back, I can push forward, especially if you've been like buying a house, for example, or focusing on your finances, in which you are really beholden to something else. You can't always make things work. And on the same day, we have a Gemini full moon as well. So interesting that Mercury stations direct on the same day as a Gemini full moon, because Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So this is a very sort of big communication day to me. It could be something really important that comes out in the news, for example, or you get some news that's really important and quite beneficial for your life. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it could be that you have to let something go and you think, the idea that I had here, I'm going to let it go and move on to this because this is much more exciting. And this also could be to do with a sibling in particular or someone in your family. But with the Gemini full moon, this is a nice energy of sorting through your ideas, actually, like I said, finalizing something, putting something to bed and tying those loose ends and then moving on to something else. And I also find that Gemini is very opinionated, not in a bad way. I've got many Geminis in my life, and they really connect well when they are able to be open and honest. So this is a very open and honest kind of full moon. It's expressive, and I would also say it has real meaning because of Mercury stationing direct. So I really find the throat chakra should be opened on this day. I don't think we should be holding ourselves back, and I really I like the energy, really. I don't think it's necessarily a bad full moon. It's not like the Taurus full moon last month where it was just bonkers and we all just thought, oh, what's going on here? So this is a little bit nicer. On the 21st of December, the sun enters Capricorn, so we go out of Sagittarius season and go into the ambitious, hardworking, sophisticated sign of Capricorn. And I can say that because I'm a Capricorn rising, right? I'm Sagittarius, so a Capricorn rising, like best of both worlds here. So this ushers in a more ambitious time. This is, always say it's fantastic that Capricorn season is around the time that we set New Year's resolutions because they work so well. And I love when we are in a Capricorn sun and we have Capricorn moons as well, because I always seem to do very well in my career when these happen. So I do like the progress that Capricorn brings. And this is a hard working season as well. So it's a good time to be on your winter arc and buckle down. Obviously the Mars retrograde will cause some frustration with our goals and our motivation. So getting energy can be really challenging, you know, especially when you hit January, wherever you are in the world, but in the UK, when you hit January, it's so incredibly dark in the mornings, it's dreary, it's cold, it's very hard to get up and go to the gym and feel motivated with your goals. But if you can find a way to motivate yourself, then that is actually extremely helpful as well. And I think it will also push you to keep going as well. It's like people do New Year's resolutions for a week and then they give up. So between the 21st and the 29th, we do have events like Jupiter and Gemini squaring Saturn in Pisces, Venus and Aquarius squaring Uranus and Taurus. I'm not going to mention them too in depth really, because they just really talk about a difficulty in expanding and some kind of impulsivity, and you know, maybe relationships that are being challenging. So I'm not going to mention them too much. But we do have a big event on the 29th, which is actually Chiron stationing direct in Aries. Chiron is an interesting sign to me. So Chiron is basically the wounded healer. It's the kind of sign that manifests trauma and deals with a lot of family issues. Wherever you have Chiron in your chart, it will show the kind of trauma and issues that you have growing up. So if you have a Chiron in, I believe my Chiron is in Cancer, you know, I have issues with my mother and areas of the like. And actually I did a reading for a friend of mine a while back on a podcast we did, and we did his Chiron and he was like, call me out, why don't you? This is so creepily accurate. So it does actually reflect our real life. And Chiron is interesting as well because it also deals with how we heal from those situations as well. So not just how we're hurt, but how we proceed to heal from them. So when Chiron goes direct in Aries, this is less so about thinking about our trauma and being tortured in dreams and whatnot, and actually being more active. So we're active in our healing now. This is really good for those of you who have felt a little bit shackled down by your traumas, a little bit shackled down by the past, and you're actually going into stages of activity now. So this could be actually going to therapy, although that is reflecting on the thing, you're actually taking tangible steps to help yourself. So going to therapy, maybe confronting the problem head on itself, especially because this is direct in Aries, which can be very angry but is a real leader. So that is, to me, saying, I'm not going to sit on my hands, I'm going to lead and I'm going to go and take charge and maybe confront that person. Although that's scary, sometimes it's got to be done. So this could be you getting actual tangible closure. You could be finding healing through active spiritual practices, you know, going to groups, creating an actual physical routine for yourself, you know, candles, meditation, yoga, that kind of thing. So it really is about being active in healing your traumas, and I wish you the best with that. I hope that you do find some peace and some healing from it. I wish that for myself, and yeah, hope that goes well for you if you do have issues that you want to work through. Then on the 30th, we have a Capricorn new moon. I'm kind of irritated this is not on the 31st because it would have been perfect. And I'm going to be in Prague as well. So I thought it would be so beautiful to be in a new country with a new moon, because I'm actually going to Luxembourg this week, and it will be the new moon Sagittarius on the 30th, which is my birthday, and then it's also the 30th next month. So it would have been cool that I'd been away during 2 new moons. I mean, I am going to be away during it, but it would be cool if it would be on New Year's Eve. So Capricorn new moon on the 30th. This is absolutely fantastic energy for the new year and resolutions. I get jazzed even thinking about it. Like, this brings great energy. This is focus, ambition to your resolutions. So if you had any kind of time to think about what you want to do and how you're going to actually execute it, this would be the time to do it, right? This is not, I'm going to set this resolution and quit in a month. This is like, I am going to see this through to the end. And Capricorn is going to help you make strides. That's going to push you forward. And it's working in a very smart way as well. Capricorn is probably one of the smartest signs in the zodiac. And you can really prepare yourself, especially if you're working on something with your career as well, because Capricorn is very ambitious, or entrepreneurial, for example. And then the next day we have the 31st, which is New Year's Eve, and the moon in Capricorn will be trining Uranus in Taurus. Again, this is not a major kind of event or placement, but I mention it because it really gives the energy of nothing changes unless something changes. So there is something that needs changing in your life. Uranus and Taurus is that kind of shocking, I'm going to push you to do it. And then the Capricorn, the moon Capricorn, is the kind of taking advantage of those opportunities to do so. And that will lead you closer to your dreams and will just really help you with resolutions. I just like this energy with Capricorn, the Capricorn energy. I think it's fantastic. So I might have run down that pretty quickly, but that's really what's going on for December 2024. Generally, I don't see this as being a particularly bad month at all. Some months you think, oh, what's going on here? Like November was just, oh my God, there's so much going on. And there are some interesting events this month for sure that will affect us, but I don't think they're generally bad. I think the only thing that I'm like, oh, this might cause some issues is Mars retrograding in Leo, but everything else like Neptune going direct, Mercury stationing direct, it's all good stuff, and that Capricorn new moon to end the year is just also beautiful as well. And like I said, I love Capricorn new moons because I seem to always get good opportunities on the actual night of the moon. So hopefully that will give you all some opportunities and some nice energy for New Year's Eve as well.